Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda Santos from the channel Amanda Santos BR. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Brazilian living in the Canary Islands, and I love sharing travel experiences, culture, and beauty from around the world. Today, I'm taking you with me on a very special day here in Barcelona, one of those days that nourish the mind, body, and heart. I started with a visit to the Forbidden Art Museum, a place that truly amazed me. I'm passionate about art and history, and this museum brings together works that at some point were censored or considered too provocative for their time. It's impossible to leave untouched. Some pieces are shocking, others make you reflect. All of them, in some way, are liberating. It was a real immersion into deep, bold, and necessary themes. The Forbidden Art Museum is located in the charming El Born neighborhood and showcases works that were censored in different parts of the world. Created by collector Tacho Benet, the space is bold, provocative, and invites us to reflect on the limits of freedom of expression. Among the works, I saw names like Banksy, Andy Warhol, and even Picasso. Each room presents intense themes: politics, religion, sexuality. It was a powerful visit, one of those that stir you inside and show how art has the power to question and transform. The series Los Caprichos by Francisco Goya is a fierce critique of hypocrisy, corruption, and the abuses of 18th century society, especially by the Church and the Inquisition. His art, used as a form of resistance, was censored at the time, but remains provocative to this day. In 2015, the Museum of Contemporary Art of Barcelona censored the piece Not Dressed for Conquering by artist Inés Dujak, which portrayed a male figure that could be associated with King Juan Carlos I. The decision sparked strong public backlash against the censorship, and the exhibition was reopened. Even so, the museum's director resigned, marking a controversial episode about the limits of artistic freedom. I also saw the famous work by Andy Warhol depicting Mao Zedong in vibrant colors. At the time, it was considered subversive for satirizing a powerful figure. Turning an authoritarian leader into a pop icon was in itself an act of artistic rebellion. The piece Plusvalia, 2010, by Tania Bruguera, recreates the Arbeit macht frei sign from Auschwitz to provoke reflections on memory and history. Due to its critiques, it was censored in some exhibitions. The installation questions how the past is commercialized and manipulated, sparking uncomfortable debates about collective memory. The artworks made by Guantanamo prisoners are paintings and drawings that express resistance and humanity under extreme conditions. In 2017, the Pentagon banned the release of these works, citing national security. This measure served as censorship, silencing voices that sought to express themselves. Walking through this part of the museum revealed how history repeats itself, with Guantanamo echoing the horrors of Auschwitz. In both cases, silence was used to destroy human dignity. Art disturbs because it breaks that silence and restores erased humanity. The piece Amen by Abel Ascona is controversial and uses consecrated hosts to form the word pederasty, denouncing sexual abuse in the church. The installation sparked outrage, lawsuits, and threats, serving as a cry of protest that exposes painful truths still hidden. The artwork by artists Kim Un-sung and Kim So-kyung, 2019, honors the Korean women who were forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese army during World War II. Every element of the sculpture carries symbolic meaning. The cut hair represents the forced separation from family, the clenched fists, the courage to break the silence, the bird, the connection between living and deceased victims, the lifted heels, the instability of life after trauma, the shadow of an elderly woman, the weight of decades of suffering, and the white moth, the hope for an apology from the Japanese government. Exhibited at the Aichi Triennale, the work was censored for being considered anti-Japanese propaganda, but public pressure led to the reopening of the exhibition. Today, it is seen as a symbol of peace and remembrance. Despite the ongoing diplomatic tensions it continues to stir. Throughout the exhibition, criticism of the church appears both directly and symbolically. A matchbox displays the phrase, "The only church that illuminates is the one that burns." And in the bathroom, a smiling nun in a frame blends humor with provocation. It reminded me of the time I studied with German nuns in Olinda, a curious contrast between memory and critique. Look how interesting. In 2014, Mexican artist Joshua Ocon had one of his works rejected by a gallery in London, which considered the nudity and political content of the piece inappropriate. They offered him the chance to display another piece, but he refused. The installation features powerful imagery: a Mexican worker in the background cleaning a glass pane, and an overweight American man lying down, scenes that speak of submission, exclusion, and social inequality. I find it amazing how artists are so sensitive to the structures of society. Ocon was already aware of dynamics of power and exploitation that today seem even more evident, especially in the tensions between countries and social classes. In 2016, Australian artist Ilima Gore had her work Make America Great Again censored on Facebook and received threats and attacks from Trump supporters. In response, she turned the artwork into an NFT, defying censorship and reaffirming her resistance. One of the museum's most striking artworks shows Ronald McDonald crucified, a powerful critique of consumerism and the idolization of major brands. Standing right in front of it was unsettling. It made me think about what we worship today: profit, speed, convenience, an image that shocks but also makes you reflect. The Coca-Cola fridge and the water tank could easily pass as typical minimalist art pieces, if it weren't for the fact that they contain inside two icons of tyranny. To sum up, visiting the Forbidden Art Museum was an intense and transformative experience. Each piece pulled me out of my comfort zone and made me reflect on the limits of art, freedom, and the courage of those who dare to question the system. Interestingly, while I was editing this video, I found out that the museum in Barcelona is going to close its doors, news that made me even more grateful for having visited it. Created by Catalan collector Tacho Benet, the space was the first in the world dedicated exclusively to censored works, bringing together pieces from different countries and contexts. It's a loss for the cultural scene, but also a reminder that art continues to disturb, provoke, and resist. After so much intense information and powerful moments, I got really hungry, and nothing better than a Brazilian restaurant with real homemade food to recharge. The atmosphere was beautiful, with cheerful samba music playing in the background, that warm, homey energy, and the delicious smell of food in the air. It was a wonderful experience, one of those that hug you from the inside and recharge your body and soul. And since I was nearby, I took the opportunity to visit one of Gaudi's greatest masterpieces, the Sagrada Familia. Its grandeur is breathtaking. Every detail, every tower, everything seems to reach for the sky. Standing there, in front of such a symbolic and still unfinished structure, was truly enchanting. And to end this very special day, I had the privilege of attending a tribute to Paco de Lucia at the Palau de la Música, an emotional performance with incredible musicians and that unique flamenco energy. Paco was one of the greatest guitarists of all time and revolutionized flamenco by blending tradition with jazz and classical music. It was even more special because 10 years ago, I lived right near this building that I love so much. Coming back brought back so many memories, and in the next video, I'll show you where I used to live here in Barcelona. Don't miss it. The show was wonderful. Beyond the music, There were also dancers performing with such strength and beauty that it was truly moving. I loved every moment. Barcelona is a one-of-a-kind city full of high-quality art of all kinds to enjoy. In the next video, I'll show you a bit more of this enchanted city that I love so much. And I hope you're enjoying seeing it through my eyes too. Thank you to everyone who stayed with me until the end. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And just a reminder, my videos are available in Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, Russian, and English. See you next time. Bye-bye.